Hi, everybody. This is Gillian with the Student Event Planners Association. We're so excited that you're joining us for our webinar tonight on destination management companies. We have a wonderful speaker. We're going to get started in just a minute, so feel free to write on the event wall, introduce your name, your chapter. If you're not an SCPA member, that's totally okay. Feel free to introduce yourself and how you heard about this webinar. And if you'll just hold on for a few minutes, we'll get started. So again, feel free to write on the wall. You can also post any questions that you have throughout the webinar, and at the end we'll be doing a Q&A session. So please enjoy, and we'll get started in just a minute. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome. This webinar will be covering destination management companies. Feel free to introduce yourself on the wall of the event and let us know what chapter you're from or how you heard about this webinar, and we'll get started in just a minute. All right, everybody, let's get started. Today we have a wonderful guest speaker to extend upon our webinar series of how to find your niche in the industry. Her name is Danielle Cambick, and she's the General Manager of Hello Washington, D.C. Destination Management. She's an Ohio native and a proud graduate of the University of Dayton. She has more than 9 years of industry experience, most recently serving as an account executive with a global destination management company before joining and starting her Hello Washington, D.C. operation. She is adept at handling logistics for both private and public sector organizations, and she has produced high-profile events such as the National Museum of American History's grand reopening, gala, and dedication. This also included presidential involvement and national media attention, so it's a big deal. She's outgoing and energetic, and she's known for her organized, thoughtful, creative approach to events. She's also a dynamic team leader who is passionate about creating amazing client experiences and exceeding their expectations, no matter what size. When she's not hard at work, Danielle stays active by playing volleyball, golfing, and volunteering her talents with Friends of St. Jude and MPI. So please help me welcome Danielle Cambick with Hello Washington, D.C., and she'll be giving her webinar on destination management companies.
Well, hi everybody, and thank you for the kind introduction, Jillian. I am so happy to be here and to be speaking with you all. You kind of took the wind out of my sails when you read my bio, but yes, I am from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am a 2004 graduate of the University of Dayton. And just a little bit about me, I graduated from school and I moved home to Cleveland and had no idea what I was going to do. And luckily enough, when I was in school, I had the opportunity to serve on the Student Government Association. And through that experience, I got to host events on campus. So I got to do interesting things for my classmates and other students and with the president's office. So it kind of gave me that taste for doing events. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I could get paid to do this, how amazing would that be? And so I graduated, and I was looking at all these different cities to move for, and I was looking in the newspaper, that's how old I am, and online and other places to see if I could find a job doing something similar to events. And I had a girlfriend who was living in Washington, D.C., working for a group called the Hayes Group, and she was doing exactly what I wanted to do, big special events for nonprofit groups. So I sent in my resume, I had a phone interview, and I was moving in 2 weeks. That's how fast it happened for me. And so I moved to Washington, and I got to do nonprofit events for things like the American Red Cross and the USO, and then some other smaller 501c3 companies that needed a company to help them throw a gala and help them raise money. And it was perfect exposure for me, not only to this great big city that I was now living in, but also I got to learn different vendors. I got to learn what a lighting company does and what a caterer does and what's a decor company and how do you work in a museum like one of the Smithsonian museums here in DC. So it gave me eyes wide open into the event industry. So my boss there was hired away to work at a DMC, and she called me and said, hey, I have this opportunity for you to sell the city and to take clients to the best places and show them the best museums. Do you want to come? And my immediate answer was, yes, please. And so I jumped on board not knowing what I was getting myself into. And I worked for them here for 2 years. It was a company called Quoney. I worked for them here in DC for 2 years, traveled with them to Chicago, lived there for 2 years, and then was hired to come back and open the Hello Washington DC office. And I only bring that up because it's kind of unique to see how events and vendors and the way that companies work and hotels work with different DMCs and different event companies in lots of different cities. Excuse me. So I was lucky enough to be recruited to come and work for Hello, and it's been a really great experience once I figured out what a DMC does and how we work and all that, those sorts of things. So I'm going to take it back a little bit, though, to finding a job in a DMC and how that's accomplished, because it can be tough to do that. And my first piece of advice is to ask questions of anybody in the event field, really. If you want to know what it's like to be a wedding planner, if you want to know what it's like to be in destination management or in PR type of events, whatever it may be, asking that question, calling somebody that works there, hey, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? I'm really wondering what it's like to work for a PR firm. What does that even mean? What kind of branding events? What is branding? How do you make that work in the real world sense rather than just maybe a marketing or business class that you may be taking? So I think it's important to try to expand your network. So going to association meetings, event company meetings, things like Meeting Planners International and ISIS and NACE, and there's all these different types of companies that are at your disposal to utilize to ask industry professionals how they got where they're going, what do they do from day to day, and how they got their start. And hey, can I intern with you for the summer right after I graduate, or can I intern with you, for however long so that I can get a taste for what you do, so that maybe that's something that you might want to do in your field moving forward. Excuse me. So that's a little bit about networking, a little bit about interning. Your first job right out of school is going to be scary, and it's going to be fun and exciting, and you don't know everything just yet. Even though I know you graduate from school and everyone feels like we know everything, there's a lot of knowledge out there, and there's a lot of really smart people. So just take that little piece of knowledge with you when you get into your first job, that there is so much happening out there that you can be really exposed to. So when people are looking at candidates for really anyone in the event field, but what I look for specifically for people that are coming to a destination management company, specifically Hello, we look for people who are really enthusiastic, who are hungry, who are excited to learn how this works, how what we do as professionals works for our clients, and how are we going to make sure that they walk away with a really fantastic experience, not only in our city, but with our company and in our venues and with our vendors at the end of the day. So it's an interesting dichotomy of working with a meeting planner, but the guest experience at the end of the day is something that we always try to focus on and make sure that somebody visiting DC from Kansas who's never been here walks away with a really great impression of our city and how we work and their company and the whole reason that they were here for whatever that meeting may be. So as I mentioned, networking is really important. Trying to meet other people that are in your field that you may be interested in. Again, just to reiterate, is a really important thing to do. Another interesting way to network is using social media, and I highly recommend that all of you get on LinkedIn as soon as you can. I think it's a really, really wonderful tool for you to search different types of companies, people that work at companies, and who you may know work somewhere. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's who you know. My first job, as I mentioned, I had a friend who was working for that company, and luckily enough, they wanted to hire me, which was fantastic, but had I not known her, I might not have ever moved to Washington in the first place. So sometimes it's all who you know, and LinkedIn really helps you create those circles and helps you create those different networks between one another. As I'm speaking about social media, though, I just want to highlight something that when I get a resume from a potential candidate, the first thing I do is Google their name. I want to know what they're all about. I want to know if they're the right fit for us, and I assume they've already Googled me or Googled our company, so I want to learn a little bit more. So I just caution you to make sure that your social media is something you wouldn't be afraid for your parents to see or a respected potential employer to see, because people are searching. We are checking those things out, and we want to make sure that you're the right candidate for our company, both professionally and socially, and that there's nothing necessarily inappropriate or embarrassing out there for you or for us. So that's just a little note about the social media aspect of things. So starting in the industry is, again, all about who you know, asking questions, and showing that enthusiasm to be in events, because everybody wants to be an event planner. And really what that gets down to is being organized, is being efficient, and using your connections in an appropriate way to make these fantastic events and experiences happen for our clients. At least that's how we look at it. So when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go and what I was going to do, I knew I wanted to do events, but I didn't realize how many different types of event companies there are. There are PR firms, there are wedding companies, there are different kind of marketing firms, there are mitzvah planners, you name it, they are out there. There's people in venues, there's vendors, there's caterers. These all fall under different types of events. And then there's destination management. So what is destination management? At the end of the day, what we try to do is represent our market to our clients. So for example, somebody coming from out of town that may have never been here is looking to us as the DMC to help them figure out the best museum for them to go on a tour, or maybe somewhere they want to have an off-site dinner, or the best kind of steak restaurant, you name it. It's our job to know, because we live here and we are the local experts, what is going to be appropriate and fitting and right for that particular client. As a DMC, I'm not going to propose something for a group of 200 men necessarily that I would for 200 nurses that may be coming for a completely different style event. So it's all about knowing your city, knowing your market, and presenting those options to our clients and providing great services and events that are fitting to what they might need and what they're really looking for. So all of those different elements that I spoke about as events go all really come together and fall under destination management when we're working with different clients. So on behalf of our clients, we're the one call. So meeting planners may call, they could Google easily enough, great steak restaurant, Washington, D.C., but they don't know what the decor is like, they don't know what the service is like, they don't know what the food and beverage minimums may be, and that's why they can make one phone call to a DMC, and I can give them 4 recommendations in half the time that it would take them to even look up all those numbers, call all those people, make sure they're getting phone calls back, that sort of thing. So just one little aspect of what and how we can help our clients. We have clients that will call us and say, I want to do an event at Air and Space. How do I do that? And I say, you've already done the first thing you need to do is by calling us, and we can help take care of all of the other steps. We've gone through, we've done our research, and we understand how these things work and how to make them work for our clients specifically. So I'm going to show you guys our website right now, if I can find my mouse, just to show you guys a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. Here we go. Share. Okay, so this is our Hello Washington DC, or excuse me, our Hello Destination Management website, and I'll talk a little bit later about all of our different locations, but really I wanted to talk to you guys first about our services. This here outlines all of the different things that we as a full-service destination management company do, and I'll just start here and then we'll work our way through. So When it comes to dining, we help clients find restaurants for their groups, which is called a dine around. So for example, if somebody has 200 people coming, but they want to break up into groups of 50 for a dinner, we can then organize that for them. We know the right type of restaurant for the right type of group that's either close to their hotel or it could be further away. Just really depends on what they're looking for, and then we ask the questions to fulfill their specific needs. The next thing that we especially here at Hello focus on is our creative services. And our creative service team is amazing, and I'll talk about them again here in just a second, but they are able to really create those amazing galas and events, and we just had Harry Connick Jr. at an event of ours, things like that are really cool and high scale and cutting edge, that are the types of events that we all want to do and produce, which are really fun to do, by the way. Here in Washington, we don't do as much golf, but in our other destinations, golf is a huge element of DMC, and it is because we know the best courses. We have memberships at certain places where we can help our clients get into those really upscale VIP experiences. Hospitality staff is something that I think clients sometimes forget how important it is to have that extra person that is there, that has local knowledge, that's there to help with figuring out restaurant reservations, or can help you get another vehicle to a hotel to take a guest somewhere, or be there to help answer questions about whatever tours may be going off that day or different parks that they can go to. So it's important to have the right kind of people and staff that we train ourselves. Off-site events is another element of what we do, and I spoke to that a little bit about earlier when I mentioned doing an event at the Air and Space Museum. Every single one of our different offices is in a different destination, so there's all different types of venues that clients can go to and experience, and just go to and cool and have private for themselves, which is a unique thing. Show tickets, here we're able to help with, especially in Las Vegas, because they have so many different types of shows, but helping to get show tickets, giving clients, again, that kind of VIP experience. Sometimes we can do, backstage kind of things, just really interesting different niches and elements to show clients. Team building is a huge element of DMC. A lot of clients come and they want something special for their group. They want them to network with one another, maybe people coming from all across the world, and they want to break them up into teams so that they get to know each other and they get to meet one another. And building team building exercises is something that's a unique experience for our clients, because we try to integrate their goals as well as with giving our clients a good experience while they're here in town. Tours and activities, this is really where the sky's the limit, because there are so many different things that could be a tour or an activity. For example, here in Washington, we can take groups to the Capitol. We can take groups around all of our monuments. Down in Florida, they can go kayaking. They can go on a catamaran. In Vegas, they can go off-roading. And in Arizona, you can go do lots of things. You can go off-roading there too. Lots of fun things. So the sky's the limit, as I said, for different types of tours. And we plan all of those, and we build custom tours and experiences for guests so that they really get to feel and really experience each of our destinations. And then transportation. This is the real cool part of DMC, and it's such an important one. I think a lot of people think, oh, transportation, no fun. It's really the most important thing. Getting your guests to and from the airport, to and from the hotel, to your tour activity, or to an offsite venue. Transportation is something that we really pride ourselves on, especially here at Hello. We focus on insurance and vehicle quality and making sure that the ride to and from is not something that they ever have to worry about or be concerned with, as it should be something that you don't even think about. It just should be easy and fun and fast. So something that we like to focus on. So I'm just checking to see if there were any questions. So those are some of the services that we provide. I'm going to talk a little bit now in more focus about our creative services team. We are really proud of our team. We have 13 professionals where this is solely their focus, is to come up with, and you can see some of it on the background here a little bit, of different types of experiences to give clients. So I'm going to show you some of our WOW events just to start. This picture right here is actually at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and we built a stage on top of the fountain for a special group of VIP clients. So that was interesting and cool and had its own challenges, but were all things that we were able to come together with all of our different partners and vendors and put together, so we gave them a really unique experience. And as you see here, we're just going through some of our other events. There's the fountain again. But I'm going to go on here and show you just a couple of our other events. This was a Gatsby Gala that we hosted, and we built different tiers of the seating so that guests from around the room could then see the stage, which is a unique way to do seating at a hotel. Here is a ice, this is actually a sofa made out of ice, and same with this coffee table. And then we had some additional chairs with blue lighting and draping around the room for this particular client who wanted a cool ice theme. So there was a whole igloo motif when they walked into the room, which was really neat. This is a gala that we did in Orlando, and what's unique about this, it kind of has that circus feel to it, and all the different types of linens and all the different elements of, you know, just kind of whimsy, and there's a little Kentucky feel there, if you will. So it's just kind of an interesting way to use different decor, use different elements of our creative team to pull those sorts of things together. This was another dinner, as you can see, and with each of these, you can see that all of our creative services pull in different things. So here, for example, we have glow tables, and we have spandex chair covers, and we have stars hanging from the ceiling. And in some of the others, it's just been linen and centerpieces and staging that make that event what it is. Really what we aim to do is give our clients that wow factor. When they walk into the room, it's, oh, wow, that is so cool. Oh, I've never seen this before. Oh, how did you turn this ballroom into this type of experience? Speaking of experience, this is another example of a reception event that we did, and we made these custom bars for a client of ours, and all of these signs that you can see here were also custom of the different words that were important to that particular customer. So it was all about building their brand and showing that they were personal and creating an experience for their guests, which we thought this was a unique way to help showcase that. And then here's actually another picture of that same ballroom, only done differently. Here we've got linens and chairs, and as you can see, this is kind of a unique, it looks like an X, you know, on the floor plan right here, and then different round chairs kind of all throughout the rest of the room, just as a different way to mix up that ballroom and give this particular client a different type of experience and a different feel. I'll come back here so you can stop just staring at my screen. So in those pictures, and I'll go back to some of those in a little bit, we, as a destination management company, we don't own anything. So we don't own any of those chairs or linens or entertainment or any of those pieces. But what we do is leverage our relationships with different vendors to create those experiences. So in each of those pictures, it was not just one vendor, it was not just two vendors. Some of our events take up to 16 different vendors that we work with: lighting, draping, sound, flooring, rigging those stars in the ceiling, who's going to bring in those tables, where are we going to order the spandex chair covers from, where are we going to order the chairs, do they fit the spandex chair covers, the centerpieces. If we have two different types of linen, that may be coming from two different types of companies. So it's all about managing all of those different people and all of those different partners of ours to then again give a seamless event for our client at the end of the day. And then I just wanted to talk real quick about where we are as a company. I think that's important for you guys to see. We as Hello are in the major markets around the United States. Our headquarters is in Orlando, Florida. And as you can see, we really cover the state of Florida, which we love. And they are in every major little city in Florida. We have Las Vegas, which has the most hotel rooms per capita, I think, in the United States, which is fantastic. Scottsdale, and then we cover really the whole state of Arizona. Texas, our headquarters, or our main office there is in Dallas, and then we are also doing Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio. And then we are here in our nation's capital, and we also service Baltimore and Annapolis. And what's unique and what's interesting about where we are as a company is that we're in all the major markets where companies may go. And for example, a lot of our companies and clients that are bringing their guests might go to Florida for an incentive trip, for example. So they may be taking their top 100 salespeople to Key West as a incentive trip winning moment. You know, they each sold over $2 million of whatever, and they want to treat them to a trip to the Keys. So our company would help facilitate all of that for them. We would help with their transportation, their tour experiences, their dining experiences, really anything that they could want to do while they're there. So Florida is a huge incentive, and Orlando is both incentive because you do have the amusement parks there, but there's also the business side of it. The Orlando Convention Center is one of the largest and best experiences, and it has a lot of different hotel partners right around it as well. Vegas, I already talked about. Dallas and Arizona, you know, these are all places where companies can go with big groups and give them an experience that's different and that's unique. And what we found is that a lot of our clients will travel from Orlando to DC to Texas to Vegas to Arizona. They may throw in another city, and then they're coming back to somewhere within our team. So what I think is unique about us as a company, excuse me, what I think is unique about us as a company is we're not a franchise. We're family owned. Our headquarters is in Orlando, like I mentioned. So when our clients are working with us in DC, they're going to have the same type of experience when they're in Dallas or in Vegas or in Arizona. All of our proposals and contracts and invoicing, all of our systems are the same, so it maintains that consistency from office to office. So we are proud to be where our clients are going, and that's always our first question. Hey, where are you going next? What are you looking for next? How can we help you next? And I think that's a key part of being a destination management company. So are there any questions? Do I shoot it back to you?
Thank you so much for this information. We do have a couple of questions. The first one, although you're a destination management company, do you find businesses in Washington still reach out to you to plan major events there?
We do. And luckily enough, here in DC, we have the largest collection of associations right in Virginia. So we do have companies that are local that want assistance because they see the value of reaching out to a company that is the one-stop shop that can help them figure out exactly where to go, exactly how to do it, where they don't have to make the 10 phone calls, they don't have to book their own vehicles, they don't have to book their caterer and order all of those different linens, all of those different elements that they can just say, hey, you take care of it, this is what I want. So absolutely.
Great. And what's like the number one thing that you tell your clients if they're kind of deciding between different cities, or, you know, what is your biggest selling feature for Washington?
That's a tough one. I think that when people think about DC just initially, they think, ugh, what am I going to do there with my group? What is there other than, you know, government and the buildings, and it just seems so stale. And I think what my goal is to explain to our clients is to really expose them and introduce them to the new things in DC. DC is having such a revival right now, both in food, which is amazing, and in building the city. There are new venues, there are new areas, our real estate is through the roof. There are just a lot of different things that are happening. So I think what we try to do is show them the undiscovered Washington, the different side of DC, so that it's not just, okay, I'm a government peon and I'm going to my job and it's all stale. It's really a fun, interesting, cool city, and there's lots of different facets that we can help introduce them to.
That's great. And, you know, are a lot of your companies, clients that you work with, is it a one-time only, or do you get repeat business out of your out-of-towners if, you know, maybe they don't have another conference there for 10 years? Mm-hmm. What's, I guess, kind of your, you know, your repeat client business?
We are very lucky, and we work really hard at maintaining relationships with our clients so that if they're not coming back to DC, maybe they're going to Dallas next year, or maybe they're going to Scottsdale or Orlando. So we really try to maintain that relationship with them because we know that planners don't only have one meeting a year. And we understand that they might not be coming back to DC, but there may be somewhere else in the Hello family that can help them. So we try to stay in touch with them. Hey, where are you going next? What are you doing next? We go to trade shows. We're invested in our planners. We go and visit them at their offices to show them what's new in our cities, to find out where they might be coming next, or are they coming somewhere close to us, or can we help them in some way? So it's a really big important. It's crucially important for us to maintain that relationship with our client, so that we know that even if they might not be coming back next year or in the next 3 years, when they do come, they're going to want to call Hello.
And we do have another question. Is there anything in particular in a recently graduated student's experience that you look for? Any certain type of job history or internships they've held that make them the right fit for you?
Sure. I think that somebody who is just coming out of school, or who is trying to get their foot in the door with something like this, I think the experience, it's not necessarily one job. Yeah, if you've worked at a hotel or if you've worked for a caterer, those things are great. I think what we look for is an understanding that you don't know everything about events yet, and an understanding that you're hungry to learn how to do this, how to put something like one of those galas together. Something, it's more that hunger and that enthusiasm for, hey, I'm really excited to learn about this, and I don't know how to transfer 300 people from hotel to hotel or from hotel to venue, but I want to learn, and these are the steps, or this is the research I'm going to do about your company or about what you do in order to make those things happen. So experience is great, and I think it's having an experience, because everybody brings something a little bit different. I was working as a retail manager before I started doing this, before I took the job in DC. So it was more about my enthusiasm for wanting to get my foot in the door and really being excited about doing something like this, rather than necessarily, oh, okay, I had to already work for an event company, because it's kind of impossible, right? You always search for a job and you need 5 years experience. Well, how am I going to get the experience if I can't get the job, right? So I think it's showing that enthusiasm, showing that you've done some research, and being excited and asking. Again, I can't reiterate enough asking those questions. I had a student from my alma mater email me a few weeks ago and say, hey, can I bug you for 10 minutes? Exactly what I was saying earlier. She said, I don't understand what you do, and I'm interested in events, but I don't know what that means. So it was, yeah, of course, let's talk about it. Let's give you a more eye-opening experience for what I do day to day. That showed me that she actually is interested in learning more, which is important.
That's awesome. I like that, because everyone tells you, experience, but you can have all the experience, and without the enthusiasm and willingness to learn, you can't really get very far. So that's a wonderful, wonderful point and advice for our members. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, what do you believe is the hardest aspect of an event to plan? You mentioned transportation earlier, but what to you is the hardest?
I think what most people find challenging about this type of job is that there are so many elements to one program. I know I mentioned all the different vendors in that one room, but that could be one night of a 5-day program for a client. So I think that different people find different things challenging about DMC. Something that I might not be my favorite thing to do might be someone else's favorite thing to do. So for example, putting together a manifest for arrivals and departures, not my favorite thing to do. But I have a colleague that is her ultimate, that she dreams about having 1,000-person transfers, where I would rather decorate a ballroom. So I think what's challenging is learning how to master all of those things at the same time while you're trying to master and manage your client and your vendors and those expectations, and still giving them an amazing experience. So I think that's kind of a cheater answer, but I think it's the truth. I think that everyone's going to find something that they love or that they hate, but I'll tell you this, I have been doing this for 10 years, and every single day I learn something new. Every single day I have an opportunity to learn about how you calculate food for a catered event, or how you make more profit doing transportation a different way, or what size linen do you put on a 6-foot round? Just random things that I learn every single day that keeps me interested and keeps me intrigued and keeps me on my toes. So I think that's the exciting part, but it can be the biggest challenge too.
And what is the your most favorite event that you've ever planned? Where was it? What did it look like? How many people?
I have a couple, if I'm going to be honest. I think, well, I have two. One of my first big, huge events that it was like a labor of love for 2 years, was doing the American Red Cross 125th anniversary. This was that first company when I first moved to DC. And what was so challenging about it was there was a host committee, there was a gentleman's host committee, there were celebrity involvement, it was a challenging venue, our client was very challenging, and at the end of the day, we had this, we were at the National Building Museum here in Washington, D.C., and we sat, I think, about 2,000 people, and I was in charge of all the seating, so not only was it nerve-wracking, am I going to put someone at the wrong table, or what am I, how that all works out, and how just to make sure that's all completely seamless and perfect. But there was a point in the night, everything had gone off swimmingly. We had Fantasia was very popular at this time. She had just won American Idol, so she came and sang the anthem, and then Jimmy Smits was our MC, and Jane Seymour was there, and there were all these different people and things that were involved that just took a lot of intricate detail and planning. And there was a point at the end of the night, it was for the Red Cross, and in the building museum there's this large fountain, and we had built a stage to look like the Red Cross. And there was a point at the end of the night where we just had this shot of the Red Cross with all the guests around it. Nobody was on it, and the candles were twinkling, and the lighting was just perfect, and it was that, we did it. It was such an accomplishment, and it had been, again, 2 years of working really hard on this project to make sure our clients were happy and that the experience was what it was, and it was right after Katrina, so the Red Cross had a huge national spotlight on it, so there were just lots of things all involved there. And then I would say, and I actually have a video to show you guys if you're interested, of an event that we just did here in October, and it was for Marriott events, and I had shown you guys a picture of it earlier. And I think what was so cool about that event, and I wasn't even involved in all the planning and all the steps, but I think my favorite part about it was that it was something that for meeting planners that they had never seen before. We brought them in through a back door onto a stage, and then had this amazing room set up for them. So I think why that one was so encouraging and exciting and just refreshing to see was because it was something so different that we were able to surprise the people that plan exactly what we all try to do every day. So I think that was a really cool experience and moment. So would you like to see the video? Yes? Nobody can respond to me, so you're going to have to watch it. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Here you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome.
Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to where the experience begins. At Gaylord Hotel, we are constantly defining, exploring, and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in audience engagement and guest experience.
What I get excited about is we're in the meeting convention business. We partnered with all our partners from Freeman, Veolia, PSAV, Hello DC to create an experience. And that experience is starting on the dock, because in the meetings convention business, that's where it begins.
Rock and roll, beer and tubs, great food from that food trucks, a very unique experience. But that's not all. Right before guests think that this is the only event, we're going to engage them with the Thundercats.
Tonight, you have been invited to take a behind-the-scenes look at what we've been working on through to our laboratory theater and reflection lounge for next-level experiences. Are you ready? All right, let's get this rolling. Open! Show me the experience!
After they come through these giant elephant doors, they walk on stage. This is the beginning of their experience. Unbeknownst to them, they're going to be fed the most incredible and unique way.
The balloon that's going to drop from the ceiling onto the stage. Inside that balloon is going to be a savory olive confederate.
We must continually explore what's next in culinary, design, theory, and entertainment. With this philosophy, we push the boundaries of what the Gaylord guest will experience. Tonight, you are getting a unique look behind the scenes of how we build the next level of experience.
What I'm excited about is showing the progression of how It truly is a story.
This is the Burgundy stage. We've got Adam Lasser, the rock and roll star from Los Angeles. He's the nephew of Carlos Santana, has been playing guitar since he was 7 years old.
You can always make it if you try. The real life one day. We got the pocket, even when no one's around. We got the beat and people get down. We got the pocket, even when no one's around.
It's an inside-out event. Our production guys are calling the shots the whole night, and you're going to hear them. So you're going to know when these reserves are basically coming out of the ceiling. You're going to know when they're going back up. You're going to know when the line guy comes in the room and when he goes out. So you're going to be prepared for what's coming next.
Up and coming, Will Champlin's from The Voice, son of Bill Champlin from Chicago. He's going to be doing big standards and pop.
I know I've been borrowing trouble, but hanging my head is shining. I'm waking up from the rubble, God only knows my name. You can be your heart and I'll be mine. You know that I feel my mind. Thank you so much. I want to thank Maria and Gaylord Center for having us tonight. This is an honor. Thank you so much.
What makes us different from everyone else in the convention business? We look at everything as a blank canvas. My philosophy is doing events is no event is ever going to be the same.
Okay. You back? Okay.
Yes, that is awesome. I wish I could have been there.
Are there any other questions? Anything else I can answer?
I think the last one is, do y'all face any sort of, sometimes with the economic downturn, where people have to maybe cancel their offsite events, scale things down, and how do you, balance that in your business?
Well, there's a couple different facets there. If somebody is trying to come to DC and they can't find the right budget dollars for the exact thing that they want, we try to work with them, again, to represent them to our market and finding them maybe not, if they can't afford the museum, let's try to figure out another way to give them an experience that is within their budget. So I think that kind of answers your question. If somebody has contracted something with us and then they have to cancel, it really has to go based off of our contract terms. We try to do our best to make sure that our clients are still able to walk away with the right experience, and depending on the circumstances, force majeure is a whole other topic for another time. But it's definitely something that we take into consideration, and we always want our clients to walk away saying, hello took care of me. I couldn't do my event or something had to change, but hello still took care of me in that regard.
Well, good. Danielle, I just really want to thank you for helping us and participating in this webinar. The information you gave was absolutely phenomenal, not only from what you do and what your company does all across the nation, but how our members and people that are interested in going into the event industry can join in and be a part of it and create this professional life that they only can dream of, and making that a reality. So we really, really thank you for sharing your experiences and sharing your professional knowledge with us, and I know we definitely will all benefit from it very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I was so honored to be asked and to speak to you all, and again, it's about asking questions, it's about getting your name out there, it's about meeting people. And I wish you all the best of luck. It's a fun industry. It's a lot of hard work, but in the end, I think walking away with that job satisfaction of, wow, look at this cool event that we did is a lot. So I wish you all the best of luck.
Well, thank you. And for our SCPA members and non-members, be on the lookout for our next webinar in the How to Find Your Niche series. Later this month in March, we'll be having our next one, so please tune in, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye.